Okay.
Where I don't know. Hi, everyone. We are live now. And this is a new adventure with the whole going live with StreamYard. So I am trying to, I think I have it going to that's going to my Late Language Dina page and YouTube and LinkedIn all at the same time because Dina just likes to play and see how. Oh, we have it on LinkedIn. I see that confirmation, but I'm not yet seeing the confirmation that it's on Facebook. So let's see. Is it there?
I love that you're willing to begin a new, like I call it consciously being out of your comfort zone. I love it.
Um, What? Oh, Soli Dina. We're on Soli Dina, everybody. We're on Soli Dina because Dina has kept creating new Facebook. Soli Dina is the identity of my business that I am now. Late Language Dina is the consciousness of the business that I played with and is transitioning to to Soli Dina, but I haven't fully let go of Late Language Dina. So that's what's happening there. So just trying to my intention is to slowly move everyone from that's in Late Language Dina to Soli Dina. So there we go. And I'm just going to share this. I'm going to just put this in the Good Juju group. My Good Juju group. Okay, because that's what we're here about. We got the Good Juju.
Yes.
So thank you to all that are tuned in here. I have no idea who's live with us, but we'll just see what happens. So I wanted to have Missy Lee Wristen come on for many reasons. I want you to meet her. Um, as you know, maybe some of you have seen, there's this book that I've been sharing on my page. And that's because Misty, Misty Lee Risson invited me to have one of my paintings in there, and I get to be part of that. But it's more than that that I wanted her to come on. Misty has given me the opportunity to share my voice that started back about a year or so ago when I after I met Rochelle Harlington. Rochelle was part of which book first? I think a couple books with you, right?
Yeah, I would have to look because she and I have collaborated on so much.
Yeah. So I met Rochelle Harlington through Lachelle Atkins, who I met on Clubhouse. So then once Rochelle told me about you and collaborations with you, um, we started to connect, and I saw that you were doing that book, My Two Cents on Self Love. Hi, My Two Cents on Self Love. And I was like, you know what? I really feel like I have to write. I want to write. And I got to write. I got to write a chapter in that book of which you made the writing process so less scary for me. And you held me through that process and in such a beautiful, graceful, just beautiful doula, creative doula way that you are. And then we got to be part of two other books together. And now this book, My Good Juju. So I want everyone to meet Mistilei Wristen, and please tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you want people to know about you, other than that you're just a phenomenal human being who's always doing kind works?
I love that part. That can be number one on my business card. Phenomenal human being that's doing kind things. I love that. Well, I'm Mistilei Wristen. Mistilei is my first name, and some people call me Misty if that's too much for a tongue twister. And I was born. That's my birth name, Mistilei, but I didn't use it for about 55 years. Around 4 years ago, I just really felt called to leave my life. I was successful. I had a beautiful business. I was in financial services, doing all the things and stuff we're supposed to do. And I just felt really called to not go back to that anymore. So I sold all my things, and my son, Hayden, and I loaded into our RV. My other children are grown, and we lived all over the place. We moved into lakes and mountains and horse ranches and really had a great time. And then about 2 years ago, we settled here and opened our campground. And it's a place where people can go when they're just kind of going through a lot. And as it turned out, last June, Hayden passed here on the campground. And so I was able to experience and fully express my grief on this beautiful place. And through that, I was able to fine tune it in such a way that there were areas no one ever told me they weren't served because they didn't have the language, because it was the first time they were going through the grief. But because I'd assisted so many other people, I knew the few things. So anyway, that's me. I'm a mother. I am a woman who has I consider gracefully grieved the loss of a child, and I'm been able to really focus on the honor it was to be there for his first and last breath, and how he taught me love. And now I get to be a person who really shares love. So creative doula, I love that. Quantum doula, I love that. Love doula. I really want to show people how to connect back to love.
I love that. And, after working with you, collaborating with you on quite a few projects, because Missy also helped me make my first journal. And I'm still a little stuffed up a little bit here too. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Brandon. Hi, everyone who's watching. You've also helped me, guided me through the process of making a journal, which I have another one coming out very soon. And I just love introducing people to you, because I feel like a lot of people get hung up on, I want to make a book. I have a book in me, but I don't know that I want to go through standard publishing. I want to self-publish, and that you make it possible for people that want to write a book, or write a chapter, to do that, and in a really beautiful way, where you've assisted me with like some editing, some like refinement, guidance on how to. You've been able to take my talk and like make it readable for other people, and help me be able to, someone that really felt challenged with writing, there's someone that can like really connect with me, and help me get out this message that I usually feel like I'm tongue tied, and in writing ways, because like I have like, I don't know what you call it, but like my sentence structure is just really fluid and breaks all the rules.
I've
So
seen it. I've seen it. I love it.
Christy was able to like assist me with that. And so this time let's talk about my good juju, because I really love the premise of this project and what it's all about, and what and how this is a fundraising opportunity, and how you've rallied so many beautiful souls to be a part of this, that got to share their voice, and all the funds go to really build, and assist with the building, the aspects of the campgrounds, to make more room, and whatever it is that you want to do there, but like, so you can make more of even more room for more healing for more people. Yeah.
So, are you ready? You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. Gina and I are both very high energy, so we never know when the other one's ready for the other one to talk. Because But I love that about you. And I do want to say something. All I do, Dina, with your work is I hear you and then I ask you a few questions and you answer them and it just comes into play. So it's still your beautiful words. But I thank you for giving me those accolades. I appreciate you. Okay, my good juju. I was very corporate. I test well. I'm an intelligent being. I've had a very fortunate life in my education and how my brain works. But I was very disconnected with me. I was running, this successful machine, but I was disconnected with me. Then I went the other side. I walked away from everything that had anything to do with ever learning or doing or succeeding by traditional words. And I went off into a mountain. A little bit extreme, but that was what worked for me. And I really embraced what was the weird stuff, what I call the good juju, the signs, the symbols, nature, spending time with the trees, the water. And a lot of people thought that was very weird. A lot of people were very concerned about my mental space because I had walked away from what they believed was, you know, the success route. And then after Hayden passed, I had a really beautiful opportunity to this is where we get into the juju for the masculine part of Misty and the feminine part of Misty to come together and go, hey, I'm a really intelligent being who's got a lot of business knowledge and has helped people through catastrophic losses for decades. And then my juju side was able to say, and I'm able to hear someone like Dina or a lot of other authors who is concerns about, can I write? Can I do this? Can I quit smoking? Can I lose the weight? Can I be in a great relationship? And I was able to put those two sides of me together so that, like this inner couple, we work together so beautifully. So I can hear what you're saying and then just repeat it back to you and ask you a couple questions to edit the plot line of your story, whether it's a story for publishing or a story about where you are in life. And that's the good juju when I get to embrace all of me. And we wrote a book. We put 26 authors together. I'm considering you an author. You created a really beautiful piece of energy. You've written with me in so many books that I didn't want you to sit must zone out, even though I knew you were handling some personal things. So I really appreciate you putting the energy in. But 26 people came together and said, you know what? The weird stuff is what makes us wonderful. We could be like everyone else, but the weird stuff makes us wonderful. So we put this book together. And as you said, all the proceeds from this go to our nonprofit, Hayden's Ray. It's a 501c3 here in Arkansas. So I own and run a campground. You can go on Airbnb, book a room, pay your money, and go stay on the campground. I also have private cabins that if you call me and say, hey, Misty, I just found out the most horrific thing or the most amazing thing, and I need a safe place to celebrate. It can be both.
Love
There
that.
always is going to be a place for people to stay. And I don't want finances to be a reason why they can't be nourished, body, mind, and soul. So I provide organic food. I provide organic nourishment in nature where they can safely explore. And then I provide nourishing conversation because now that my two sides of me can have healthy conversation, I can stay emotionally present, emotionally sober, and ask you a couple questions so you can edit your own story, so to speak. And so my good juju just made sense for that to be our next fundraiser because it's what makes the campground so amazing.
I
That was a
love
long answer.
No, it's great. It's beautiful. And because I personally really want to go there. I have it, I have the intention of being there at some point in 2025 between March, I think sometime between March and June or something like that. And I have been practicing my quantum writing, and which has been really like it. And you have like opportunities in addition to this book where people can buy journals from you, people can get the quantum writing journal and learn about quantum writing, and they can also donate directly to you. But I also love the fact that you have like 26 authors. All these people have an opportunity to share their voice. They get to share a little bit about them in the book so they can, have some promotion. And tell me about, what you've learned about, these collaborations and how, I've noticed that I've met some amazing people through these collaborations that I don't know that I would have met if it wasn't for the books, you know? So it's like you're not only providing value in bringing all these people together in a book, you've been teaching people how to write their own book. You've been teaching people so many different things, like how to get to number one, be a number one bestseller. What is one thing that you feel that you've learned from the process of creating these books in a way that, like, anything you want to share on that?
Okay. Well, so the publishing side is kind of the souvenir after the event, because the family that we build within these books is really incredible. Now, on a slightly selfish side, I had an old story that there were certain things I had to buy from local box stores, or there were certain things I had to, I had the story. Well, you have to do it because what are you going to do? That stuff's not available everywhere. And I realized through these collaborations, I know the people at the highest level of all types of industries, all types of services, all types of artwork, all types of creativity. So the biggest thing I learned, to answer your question, is that even in day-to-day good life, it doesn't even have to be when something is less than we preferred, but in our good life, we can quantumly come together. We can write a new story, and we can create new business news, new friendships, new families, all of that. Oh, there's just some drama going on behind my building right now. We can create all of that in these collaborations. And then, like you said, it's a wax on, wax off. I
Yeah.
also have a little bit of a competitive side, and I want to disrupt that self-publishing, vanity publishing industry that's charging people thousands of dollars to put books together. I want you to learn how to put a book together. And then if you decide there's a part you don't want, hire that part out. So there's a lot of pieces that come together when we put these anthologies together. We have new family, we have new connections. The energy that we bring automatically provides expansion into new businesses. And then now that brings it home. Dina, for example, has provided some artwork for one of the healing spaces. I don't need to go onto Amazon and just randomly Google yoga mat with flowers on it. I can reach out to someone who's an expert in the field, who knows about energetic art, who understands what I mean when I want the vibration of love or peace in a something that we're having on this space when people are healing. I want to really be mindful of what they're consuming. So there's not just one thing I've loved. It's a quantum learning that when we collaborate in anything with like-minded and high vibration people, the limitless opportunities will unfold. And the book is our souvenir of that.
I love that. I love that. Well, yeah, I mean, like, look, I mean, I've wound up meeting so many people like Bernie. I mean, look what Bernie has been doing with the writing. Hi, Bernie. And I know, and hi, Mohammed and MD. Thank you for watching. And thank you for everyone that's watching on a replay as well. You also, I lost my train of thought. There's a Dina human moment. Oh, Bernie. So like I met Bernie through the book. I met Julie. I met, like, all these relationships are growing, and like now, like, if I didn't get to be part of this book with the art piece, which, so my personal situation was my mom left this earth in April. And I just didn't feel like I had it in me to write a chapter yet. And even though I have so many good juju stories about my process with grief, and that's the other thing, I've been able to talk to Misty a bunch of times about my grief and in a process, and and we have so many talks about possible collaboration, and I'm so grateful because, like, I feel like we get to have a different fate. We have different views on grief, and we're being able to use our grief, having grief be an opportunity of service. Like, it's like, okay, we move through the grief. I don't know that the grief will ever stop, but maybe it'll take different shapes and take different forms. And I'm so grateful that I got to bring, this late code painting, this energy painting into the book, because I just created it. And you're like, oh, do you want to contribute something? And I'm like, oh my God, this one. And and it's light codes that are activating for harmony. So when you look at the painting, the picture, you can potentially feel the vibration of harmony washing over you. But if I wasn't going through the grief, I don't know that I would have been the person to be in the space of be needing to bring in that frequency of harmony to then share. So I feel like I'm much more of a art communicator rather than like a verbal communicator. However, I feel now I don't have to limit my communication by the judgment of what I think it is, because our words have power. So I'm learning that through you and through these books, that our words really have power in how we change our story and how we can rewrite our story in a way that is enlightening and empowering, and we can recreate how things, our perception of things, into a new reality. What do you say?
I love that. First of all, I love everything. And I want to say two things. The fact that your grief is what put out that picture, then we know it's going to serve someone else. We know that. That's how energy works. And we know we're always consuming, whether we know we're consuming or not, whether you realize the TV's on in the background or not, it's going in your body. So that artwork, whether a reader looks at it and goes, oh, I feel like this woman was going, no, they're consuming that on an energetic level, even if their human hasn't caught up to what frequency that's on. So I want to say that. Number two, I think I'm a safe place for people to begin something, and I'm a huge fan and proponent of intentionally leaning outside your comfort zone, teaching our nervous system, oh, this is scary, but I'm smart enough to have someone with me who's a professional or who loves me or who supports me, and we're going to make sure that my nervous system is corrected. And then once I've done that with the spotter a time or two, now you have the skills. Not that you're very energetically aligned before we met, but after a person has someone walk beside them a time or two and spot them, then the spotter can step back, and that person has those skills as life comes up to go, I remember I can change my story right now. Right now, I really dropped my coffee, and right now I would have cursed in my old story, but right now I'm writing a new story, and this is the best thing that ever happened to me. And we get to decide that instantaneously all the time. So being willing to begin with the story is how we get to being able to master that skill of changing our story the way we prefer. And then whether you believe it or not, then you are manifesting at the highest level, because you have no choice but to be on the channel if you're on the channel.
Yeah.
So that was, I know we have a lot of answers that could go on because they're so quantumly based. There's a lot of different ways to look at it.
I know. Well, I'm just gonna say, like, I know that, like, journal, like, I'm really excited about the journal that's coming out. Like, for those of you who don't know, just a sneak peek. Um, uh, there's going to be a journal with the painting that was in that book. I'm going to provide a color version as a, color version of it as a front cover. I know, teaser, but if you watch this, you get to know about it. But I'm really excited about the journals. And I'm really pumped up. And now I'm almost done with the inside part with the with the lines. I've been playing with the lines, and anyway, so Missy has really been supportive in helping me to learn how to make a journal. And so I'll be producing those, and I'll be, the first one is going to have proceeds. A portion of the proceeds are going to go to Hayden's Ray, because, I want to, and many reasons, but mostly I want to, and because she's been so instrumental in creating journals, and this one in particular, and the dragon one. And so where can people find you? How can people connect with you, whether they want to maybe they want to come talk to you about having a retreat there, or they want to write a book with you. Do you do like a call where people could just get on the phone with you and have like a little, like a, like, what do you call that? Like,
Discovery call.
yeah, that thing, that discovery call.
Yeah. So luckily I have my lives intertwined in the middle, but on the one side, on the nonprofit side, it's haydensray.org. And Hayden's Ray also has a Facebook. Um, so you can find us there to learn more about the nonprofit, or if you're just at that spot where you're like, I need to step away from society for a minute, then you can go through haydensray.org. If you find me on any platform, you can always feel free to message me. I feel like I tell people my job is to take the right phone calls at the right time. So sometimes you just need one phone call with a friend, and I can be that person. But in that, if you needed more services and you wanted to say, okay, what else is going on out there? And then we go to my business side. I do help people with the self-publishing process, and my goal is to teach you we could do it in 60 minutes, but Dina and I like to chat quite a lot. So I usually tell people just put out a morning or an afternoon, 3 or 4 hours. We'll stay on the phone and you can have a journal. For those services, I am Mistilei Wristen on Facebook, and Facebook is my primary jam. I'm on some of the other social media platforms, but I'm just not as active. So Facebook would be the easiest, or campgroundtbd.com. That's our website here. You can host retreats here, depending on what amenities you want. It could be a really private couple of people, or it could be a larger group. We have a meeting space on the campground, and I offer everything I do, I think of it as a doula. So I kind of offer the doula services to the person who, let's say you wanted to have an art retreat here. I'll make sure all your guests are fed and that we have the easels up on time and the yoga mats out in the morning for the morning yoga, or however it wanted to look. I'll make sure that those are taken care of so you can just concentrate on your people. And as much as I love the staff at the local hotel, they don't know the energy that you and I have together. So I'm there to support you, not necessarily just to make sure the hotel runs smoothly. So Campground TBD is the business side, and then haydensray.org is the nonprofit side. And I do love to have a phone call. I like I said, I'm here to pick up the right phone call at the right time, because I believe a lot of us went down a path of overwhelm, or even getting into substance use or other ways that aren't serving us because we didn't have someone to take that phone call at the right time. And we don't have to wait till we need the mental health hotline. It's okay to call someone the first time you feel uncomfortable and say, you know what, I was going to write a book, and the first thing I thought was, I don't know how, so I'm going to call you right now, and we're going to just powwow real quick. And I may be able to show you how to do it for free, or you may say, I don't want to learn that, I want to take your courses, but we'll go from there either way, because I love the phone call. And Dina can vouch for me. I love a good long phone call.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, like, if you're feeling like a call of like excitement from this, definitely reach out, follow your intuition. Like, I felt so guided to work with Missy on that first book, and ever since then we've been friends. Like, I did not know what was going to happen once we started talking. Like, it's I was, just so you know, like, I was like, oh, I've had, oh, this would happen. So as soon as I said yes to that first book, the money to donate to be part of that book, which was very reasonable to be published, by the way. Like, usually you have to pay like thousands and thousands of dollars to be part of a book. But with Misty, she does her best to keep the prices as reasonable, fair, as possible. She's not like out there to be, helping people publish for as small of an investment as possible, as reasonable as possible. And I think that's huge, because there are a lot of people out there that are really just, asking for a lot of money, and not everybody has the budget to invest thousands of dollars into being published. And there's that, I want to say. B, I never knew it was possible that I could publish journals, and now I'm getting an idea about a book that I want to co-create with you. I want to co-create a book having to do with, the grief process, and through you, I've seen that, like, having a deep loss of not a loss, but like the transition of a family member, that no matter how challenging it may be, there's a magical side to it, that it doesn't it there's so many aspects of grief that I also want to provide a solution and another perspective on grief, that it also can be a catalyst for creativity, and that grief can move us in ways that nothing else may move us. And I really feel like that's something that we have in common with, you creating Hayden's Ray. You created what you created with the space and the services and the books, and it's a catalyst, and I'm just going on and on and on, and but like, and with me it's the artwork. And thank you, by the way, for now. If you go there, you'll see art. You'll be able to see Misty's art. You'll be able to see some of my art there. There's other artists there, like Natalie. You have some of Natalie's work. Who
Kenya,
Yep, Kenya and
Raisa, who was in a prior book with us.
And Natalie. I think I'm going to say that. And I became good friends with Julie since then, since the first book. So it's like there's so many. Sid, oh my God, like, how funny is that? Like, Sid, you met Sid, and hi. Thank you, David. Nice to see you. David has a really great offering with this business. I've had a great conversation with him, and I'm like, we gotta connect again, David. You gotta meet David. If you haven't already. He has this Hello LLC, where he does these websites that are like, you go into like a gallery where it's like a metaverse. Yeah, it's like really cool. And so many amazing souls. I'm sorry, I've just been going on. What would you like to share? What else would you like to share?
Well, you were mentioning some of the other people that we had met, like Sid, who I met in a completely unrelated world, and then find out that you two know each other as well. So, and then I had a woman here who held a retreat here, an Akashic Record retreat here a few weeks ago, and she also knows you. And that was Amanda Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, what in the world? Dina is at the center of my little channeling.
That was you, though. You introduced me to Amanda Kelly.
Well, she said when I introduced her like 8 or 9 months ago, that she found out you guys were in a different group together, maybe Dragon or a different group altogether. So anyway,
I didn't know that. That's
you and I have so much overlap. It's really interesting.
We do. We do.
And then you were also talking about how grief can offer a really great place of creativity and expansion. And I think that in my shortest version, when Hayden human died, Hayden the spirit is everywhere, but when Hayden the human died, all of my human mama's puzzle pieces just fractured and fell to the floor. I mean, I became a 1,000-piece puzzle in one day. But as I was picking them up, I kind of realized I'm really a fabulous 500-piece puzzle. And I had a lot of other pieces that weren't mine. Like, I was carrying around these pieces for years and years and years. So once I put those down, and I joke, I'm like, sometimes my puzzle pieces weren't even puzzle pieces. They were like a piece of old cereal. But once you get those things out of your space, then our true nature, which is expansion, we as humans, the goal is to create a game of life. There's got to be a riddle. There's got to be expansion. There's got to be discomfort intentionally. And that's what we got so scared of, discomfort, that we're afraid of what discomfort might come, and being a little bit intentional with it then we get to use grief as like a jump board, because we're just not going to carry all that other baggage unless we want that to be our story. And it would be very easy for both of us to say, well, how can you expect me to show up about good juju when I just went through this? It's hard for me to even pretend, but factually, I went through the worst thing I've ever imagined in my entire life. And I survived,
Yeah.
which means I'm actually unstoppable. And so if I concentrate on it there, my human mama can still grieve anytime she wants. We every now and again spend some time on the floor blubbering. And I don't mind that about me. I love my grief. And when I get up, I call a friend. I call a friend like Dina, and we start talking about what we can create. We don't talk about how sad we are. We might say, I just got off the floor blubbering, and she'll say, oh, you know what? I had a rough morning too. And then we get into expansion, into creation. And I want to share this just in case we don't run out of time. I wanted to make sure and share this. This is kind of a writing assignment, whatever you're going through, if it's not what you prefer, whatever it is, if you want more of this or less of this, or to look this way or that way, or something's hurting, or someone did something to you, if you truly believe you'll be here a year from now, and if you don't, and if it's that dark, please call Mental Health Heartline, call me, call someone, pick up the phone right now if you don't think you'll be here a year from now, and call someone who will support you. But if you think, well, of course I'll be here a year from now, I'm just still irritated about this, that, or the other, or I'm scared about this, that, and the other, speak to the 1 year from now lady, or you, whoever you are, man, woman, whoever you are, they speak to the person you will be 1 year from now, and begin to write that person letters. Begin to fill out a scene in the day of what that person does. Because as long as you can keep your hand like on home base with your quantum future, and you don't lose sight of her, I'm going to use pronoun her because that's me. As long as I don't lose sight of my 1 year from now, Misty, this one can grieve as much as she wants, because we've done the work to trust that outside of our comfort zone takes us upward in the spiral, because we don't play in that other energy anymore. Those are not my puzzle pieces. So if somebody wanted to trauma bond with me, I have to tell them I'm sober from that type of thinking. Let's go back here. 1 year from now, where were you and I will be together? 1 year from now, what we're going to do to celebrate a year from this phone call. So just being able to connect with that person in writing, and the reason in writing is so important. Meditation is beautiful. We should all meditate. I wish everyone would meditate. But writing allows you a place to hold yourself very accountable. So if you write in your journal, my kids never call me, they don't love me, you can immediately fact check yourself and begin to powerfully rewrite the story. My children don't call me as much as I'd like for them to. I have the ability to call my children. And then quantum right, a year from now, how will I be happy? And this is the hard part, whether my children call me or not. How will I be happy a year from now? So it wouldn't have done me any good to write how I wish Hayden could come back. It's not like a Pet Cemetery movie. I'm very happy where he is now for him. But for me, I need to believe that even though he will not come back, there is a happy version of me just right up the road. And the more we can bring each other together, and writing helps that, the more that we can get through this grief in a really beautiful and expansive place. So that's my favorite writing assignment when you're going through something big, is just write a letter to a 1 year from you now, and then fact check it. Are you uplifting in your talk? Are you positive in your talk? Are you loving yourself as much as you would love me if I called you and said, I'm hurting, I don't want to live like this anymore? You would say, Misty, think about, you would take me there. So love yourself enough that you would at least give yourself the same courtesy you would give someone else that you cared for.
I love that. Thank you. I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna do that because there's some things. And you know what? I think it'd be really cool. I have an idea. We'll have to talk offline. So, and speaking of meditation, right after we mentioned Sid's here and puts in a comment. Great to be here. And speaking of meditation, definitely got to check out Sid's organization. What's Sid? If you want to put your link in here,
He's Art for Peaceful Living, but yeah, Sid, please put it in there.
Yeah,
Art of Peaceful Living.
Well, I want to tell you, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm going to share this here because, no one else knows this maybe. But I somehow got connected with Sid McNeary 3-4 years ago when Clubhouse was like really really banging out. It was like really fresh. People would go in there. It was COVID. It was like, and I started being in Clubhouse. It was the beginning of me speaking light language more publicly. And I was going in there. And then somehow I found Sid McNary. And he was doing guided meditations. And I was listening to a lot of his Clubhouse talks and really, really digging it. Really like, yeah, like this guy, he knows where it's at. Like, I don't remember what I was saying, but like that's what I'm like, remembering it as, right? And so I remember him hosting via Zoom a guided meditation. And it was so beautiful. It was so powerful. And in the middle of it, in my own space, I'm like doing light language as I'm like in the meditation. And then when we were done, we got to share, and it was just a really. And I was like, oh, I was doing light language while I don't know if I said that or anything, but I just felt so safe to be myself and share what I felt like sharing at the end of it, which was like I was like feeling myself sending light codes of healing to everyone that was in the meditation. And I felt bold enough to share that in that and felt safe enough to share that. And it was a really unique experience that I never forgot. So, but somehow I left Clubhouse, I moved on, and so it was so wild to me that years later, like 3, 4 years later, I'm already going to be in that book with you. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, we have this new author and Sid McNary. And I'm like, no freaking way. And I've been on his, he does in LinkedIn and in YouTube these morning, calls in LinkedIn. And I've been on them, sporadically, as consistently as I like to, not as consistently as I like to be, but I really love them. And so it's just so funny, how the universe is just like bringing us all together. And I feel like when you trust those niggles, you trust the niggles, follow the niggles. I love that, Sid. And we look forward to having that conversation with you. Our Sid does the Art of Peaceful Living, and I'm now doing this art show with my friend Julie called The Art of. And it's like so funny because it's like all the circles, and I have all these ideas in my journals of like, art of letting go, art of peace, art of bliss, art of this, art of that. And then I meet this man who's doing the Art of Peaceful Living, and it's like, and just like, let's bring all, and then Misty over here bringing all those people together, not even realizing all the people they're bringing together that need to be coming together, that are coming together through this book. So so not only are they coming to you for their projects, and whether it be a retreat they want to hold, or a book they want to be in, or a book they want to write, but they're also, I feel, coming to you potentially to meet other people that their soul is meant, as in my intention, for them to meet.
I think that I was a person who had a story in my head that there weren't many other people like me, that I was different, and that most people weren't like me. But again, that was my story. I now have I've published over, well, I think we just hit the 300 authors that I've published with or assisted in their self-publishing journey, whether it was in one of ours or in their own solo project. I've assisted Sid with several of his projects that he publishes on his own. But outside of the 300 or so that have published, I've worked with thousands of people now who are a little bit unique, a little bit weird, a little bit like me. And it turns out there's a lot of us, but we had to be willing, you had to be willing to be bold enough to say, I felt that I was sharing my light language. I have to be willing to say, I talk to the mist, I talk to the clouds, I meditate and I get answers in my head. My son guides me all the time. And when I say that, this is back to my good juju. That's the number one thing I hear is, oh, I've never been able to talk to someone so openly about this. Being willing to talk about it, you're always allowed to talk about it. It may not be received. And then that's our cue to go, okay, that's not a person I talked to about it. Let me turn around over here. And eventually I was in my discomfort enough that now I'm absolutely surrounded by it. And I'm almost caught off guard when I find one of those weirdos who doesn't believe in the good juju. So I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you're not like us yet. Come to this side." So so the story I used to have was there wasn't a lot of people like me. And this true story, once I was willing to, like we said, get in the quantum. A year from now, what does it look like if I have a lot of people like me? Well, it looks like we're talking about our good juju. That's what it looks like. It looks like we come together and we share about our good juju. And here we are a year later, and I wrote a letter to myself about 24 hours before Hayden's body died, because I knew how hard it would be for me to get a hold of myself the next morning, and I knew he was on his final. So I wrote my letter to myself, and there's one little area of my life that stays. I'm still single, and apparently I love it enough that that's going to stay that way for a while. But in every other part of that letter has already occurred. Every other part of it, even things I didn't, I always try to put something outlandish in my story. And even those things have occurred and even better. So again, Sid is, and I want to say something else. When you were talking about Sid's meditation, this is going to be the Sid show for a minute. Sometimes Sid and I have a regular meeting. I'm helping him with he's got like 11 to 13 book series, depending on how we're going to break it apart. So we have a standing appointment every week and we go through his works. And one day he was verbalizing very kind of a meditation that we were going to put in this book. And I'm trying to type. I'm trying to hear him and type, but I'm getting so like zenned out that I was like, hold on. You're gonna have to stop for just a second. I got to get out of this brain space because I'm about to go off into meditation and I won't be able to capture your words. So yes, if you haven't checked out Sid, and Dina has now published with him twice. And we could go on a whole nother show about the synchronicity of how I met Sid.
We can do that. Oh my God. Like the thing is, when Missy and I get on the phone, we have so much fun and all these great ideas come through. And I'm getting some more ideas like as we're talking right now. And but I also feel like we said we were going to keep it to like under an hour. And so we're nearing on that. And I really appreciate everyone being here. And I also want to give a shout out to my boy, Bernie, because Bernie has been sharing his writing magic that has been inspired by some of my artwork. And like for me, like that's such a delight as an artist, like to like, I put out, I the art comes through me, I put it out there, and to know that people are inspired about it to then go create from their inspiration, it's like, wow. So check out Bernie's writing as well. I'm going to share what he posted to one of my paintings that I shared with him yesterday. And I know we're going to do some stuff. We got some collaborations to do. But the thing is, Bernie reawoken my desire to illustrate and do more illustrative work. And Sid has reawoken my desire to create more intentional art and you too, where that could be the yoga mats, like, so anyway, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to do a shameless plug right now. Go to my Fine Art America page and see if you can tell me the feedback of if you were to get one of the items off of the art. I'd like to know if you can feel the frequency. Can you feel the frequency of the paintings even though they're printed on the The bedding and stuff?
Yeah. So, I'm going to plug you for you.
Oh, yeah,
So,
thank you, because I don't want to plug myself.
so because I run retreats every 6 weeks or so, I'm buying new blankets, new pillows, new sheets, we want to keep everything nice and fresh. And as we expand, we're adding new rooms that are for people to have a really beautiful experience. I'm on Amazon and I'm like, I don't want to have just plain. Can I customize it? And then back to I know people. I know people who do art. So I got with Dina and I went on her Fine Arts America and I bought a throw blanket, a throw pillow, a yoga mat, a coffee mug. I got a sweatshirt earlier. And the energy around that, it feels beautiful. It looks beautiful, but it feels beautiful, and it's really good quality. So I want to give you a plug on that. Everything it feels good in your hands, but the energy feels good. Now, I don't walk in and go, oh, I think she was thinking of Joy when she wrote this. It just brings it up. And then I look at the room next to it, and I played with this a little bit where I made it up. I bought the stuff online. It's just bedspread. It's a pretty room, but everything is just purchased off Amazon. I love Amazon. This is not negative about them. They help me a lot. But the energy is not there. It's simply a pretty room to the eyeballs. But again, we're consuming your energy, whether we're aware of it or not. So the energy in the rooms that have been decorated by artists with intention have a very different feel. And it's not just juju, because if you think about how water reacts if we tell it we love it, you love those paintings and then send them out. So it is in there, whether we see it or feel it or not. We're consuming it. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we can feel it. And I strongly encourage anyone to go and get a piece of Dina's art, and she will have many more pieces coming, because we are collaborating on some ways to keep all of the spaces here just people wrapped in love and joy and connection.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm so grateful that we did this. And I really think I want to do more of these videos of spotlighting people. I think I want to do that. I'm going to do that. So if you're watching this and you want to come on live with me and have an interview conversation, please let me know. If you know now how to reach Mistilei. Misty, I'm gonna get your link so we can put your links in the comments after this live, and so people that listen, they can quickly boop, click, do boop, reach out to you. And this is such a great start of the day. And if you haven't already, please go check out. I'll put the the book link in the comments as well, because buying this book, look at it this way: you're donating to Hayden's Ray, and as a thank you, you are getting this book that has all these beautiful inspirational stories and good juju from 26 authors, and I'm sure, I feel like the stories are worth so much more than the donation of, what is it?
$14.95. Yeah.
$14.95. I mean, darn, the painting I would sell for more than $15. So,
Right.
But anyway, so if you choose to donate and get this book, I feel like you'll find at least one story in there is going to touch your heart and guide you, in your journey. So, anything else you want to say?
Nope, just go on Amazon, My Good Juju, The Weird and Wonderful Within, or you can go on haydensray.org, and all of the journals and books listed there directly 100% benefit the healing spaces. Pretty much any publishing work I do goes over onto that side, and my campground is my day job.
Do you have the journal? Do you have the book on you? Mine's in the other room. I just got it yesterday.
And mine
I
is
just
in the
got
truck.
it on me, but
Mine is in my truck.
mine is in theirs. Well, I posted a picture of me on it and with it, so it's like, hey. So
Yeah,
I guess
it's
you just have
beautiful.
to get the book. That's all there is to it. All right. Well, listen, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I don't know when my next live is, so you're just gonna have to keep following me to find out. And you're gonna have to go follow Mistilei Wristen. And do you have a Facebook page for Hayden's Ray, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
One for me, one for Hayden's Ray, one for Campground TBD, which is our campground, like to be determined. And then we have an always free writing page called Quantum Writing the Hayden's Way.
Yes.
And that is, I do a live several times a week about just rewriting your story. The story itself is not what's important. It's how you're going to rewrite it. And that's not to negate, emotions that you're experiencing, but you still got to stay in touch with that future you.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to speaking with you again. And so, everybody, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you, Dina. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, love you. It's the least I can do. I'm going to end this stream.
Bye, everyone.
End stream.